Hi Madam Soliha and fellow friends. My name is Muhammad Aslam and my group members is Sridharan from group 3. Would like to present about election in Malaysia. So let's start with the introduction. Nation practices parliamentary democracy with constitutional monarchy and His Majesty the King as the paramount ruler. The federal constitution was legislated with the setting up of the condition for this system to exist. One of the characteristics of parliament democracy is the separation of power into three parts, which is legislative, executive and judiciary. Malaysia is also a country that practices a system of democracy based on the federation system in accordance to the state of Perlis, Kedah, Penang, Perak, Selangor, Negeri Sembilan, Melaka, Johor, Pahang, Terengganu, Kelantan, Sarawak and Sabah have agreed to the concept of forming Malaysia. Each state involved has surrendered part of its power such as financial, defence, education, foreign affairs and others. As stated in a Malaysian constitution which administered by the central government, there are attendants that are under the power of the state and each state administers the power over those matters.
Election in Malaysia. So there are two levels of election exist in Malaysia. So the first one is federal level, which is the Dewan Rakyat, and followed by the state level, which is the State Legislative Assembly.
At the federal level, voters elect the 222 members House of Representatives that we call Dewan Rakyat in Malay of the bicameral parliament. Members are elected from single members constituencies drawn based on the population using the first past the post system. The parties that has the majority of the House of Representatives will form the federal government. The Constitution of Malaysia requires that a general election must be held at least once every 5 years. However, the Prime Minister can ask the Yang di-Pertuan Agong to dissolve the parliament at any time before this 5 years period has expired. A general election should be held no later than 60 days after the dissolution of the parliament. At the state level, voters elect representative to the Dewan Undangan Negeri, which is State Legislative Assembly. The number of representatives varies between the different state, which as many as 82 electorates in Sarawak and as little as 15 in Perlis. Members are elected from single members constituency drawn based on the population using the first past the post system. The party that form the majority of the state assembly will form the state government. State assembly constituency are smaller in area and population than the parliamentary constituency. Each parliamentary constituency other side of the federal territories is subdivided into a number of state assembly constituency, usually 2 or 3, but can be as many as 6. Besides federal and state level election, there are other elections occur in Malaysia which are local government election. Although there used to be election for members of local government such as municipal councils, today no local government elections are held in Malaysia. Local government election was suspended after the Indonesia-Malaysia confrontation in 1964. The suspension was never lifted and instead made permanent under the Local Government Act 1976. Under the Act or the law of individual states were relevant, local government members are appointed by the state government. Lastly, by-election. In addition to general election, a by-election occur when a particular seat in the Dewan Rakyat become vacant. Such a vacancy can occur when a member of parliament dies and an MP is disqualified from being a member of the Dewan Rakyat. A seat is declared vacant because the MP has been absent from every sitting of the Dewan Rakyat for a period of 6 months without leave of the Dewan Rakyat, and the member of the Dewan Rakyat have decided to declare the seat vacant. The exemption is if the vacancy occur when the tenure of the current parliament or state assembly is less than 2 years, when the seat is simply left vacant until the next general election.
Next, we will move on to the procedures and requirements. The election process requires 7 members of election commissions. So the 7 members will be recommended by the Prime Minister to the YDPA, which is Yang di-Pertuan Agong will appoint the members by the recommendation of the Prime Minister. Then the nomination process, where the Election Commission has established nomination centres so that the candidates can register themselves. And then the campaigning. So the campaigning from the day of nomination until the polling day, there is a legally permissible campaign period where they could promote their political ideology and what are the pros and cons of current government and what are the changes they could implement if the people vote them to become a ruling party. So this period of time is where they would really promote about their political ideology to the people. During the election day, there will be agents. So each candidate is permitted on voting agent per voting center. Then, for the voting process, the elections are only open to registered voters. But this changed in the 15th general election, where the voters will be registered automatically. So they just have to check their MySPR portal, whether their IC number is correct, their voting place and also voting time. So they made this even easier for the voters to go and vote. And for the counting and announcement of election result, following the close of voting, election agents inspect the ballot boxes before and counting them. For the voters and candidates, for the voters, they should be more than 18 years old, and they should be a Malaysian citizen, and they should be living in the constituency where they wish to vote, and they should not be disqualified, such as serving a prison sentence. And for the candidates, they should be more than 21 years old, and they should not be disqualified, such as bankruptcy, and not a sound mind, and they shouldn't be a salaried employee in an organization in order to become a candidate. To finish this off with the conclusion, we think elections in Malaysia are a crucial part of the country's democratic system, providing an opportunity for citizens to have their voices heard and shape the direction of the nation. So, is there an end for election in Malaysia? Absolutely no, because in our opinion, we think that there is no any other way for us to find a good leader in this democratic country. So there is no ending for election in Malaysia.